What is up, everybody? It's Wednesday night. We know who our new president is next year. How you guys feeling? How's everybody doing? How did you guys do in the stock market today? Did you guys make any gains? Did you guys get crushed? Or did you end up okay? Took a red trade, but your account's still alive. You can still live to trade another day. Let me know how you guys are doing in the chat. Today, I actually took two trades, guys. I took a losing trade at first, as you can see on my screen here. The first trade that I got into was sadly a loss. All right. Now, the next trade after that was a winner that actually made back my loss and put me into profit. And that's the kind of trading that you want to do. You want to be able to get these kinds of trades that your next one can bring back your loss and put you into profit for the day. So yeah, it was a little bit, stressful seeing that first red trade. But regardless, we came back strong. We waited patiently. We waited for the market to give us the go-ahead of when to enter in again and capitalize on the move that ended up happening right after. So yeah, guys, if this is your first time joining me on my live, thank you for being here tonight. Welcome, welcome. Hit me with that follow. I go live at least twice a week, every night during the week, to be able to go over the trades that I took during the day, to be able to review what I believe the market will do next, try to learn a little bit. And then every now and then I throw in a little lesson. I'm an ICT day trader. I trade NASDAQ futures, and ICT concepts is the trading strategy that I use. It is a price action reading strategy. So I know I use no indicators. I go solely based off of how price is moving, where it is, where it came from, how it reacts at specific levels. And I've been doing that for 2.5 years. Out of those 2.5 years, I've been consistently profitable for 1.5 years. So I hope that I can give you guys some knowledge tonight. So stick around through the whole live and ask questions, please. This is an open community where I want you guys to ask any and all questions. Stacks, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate you. What's good? Hi, you said yo. Jacob, when trading ICT, do you limit or stop when ordering a buy or sell? I market order in based off of the entry model that I use. And so we're going to get through that. Simple trading, thank you so much for the follow. We're going to dive right into the recap for today, so you'll be able to see. Jose, I'll review that after, but I am bullish on it still. So we'll see where it could go next. So I always start out my day on the 4-hour chart. Since I'm a day trader, I want to start from a high level to understand where price is, how it's reacting at these key levels that I mark out. So on the 4-hour time frame, the one thing that I liked was the fact that we did close above this 4-hour imbalance right there. So let me actually get the drawings in here. This level right here, okay, that is what is called an imbalance. Price moved so drastically through that it left a gap in between these two candle wicks. Now when price crushes through that, it shows signs of bullishness, because usually these gaps act as resistance. When they are a bearish one, it acts as resistance. So price crushed through that, and it made me bullish for the day. Because of the fact that we had that close above that, I was expecting price to come up into this previous week high. I was hoping that for the market open, we would be hanging around somewhere here. Obviously, the elections were last night, and the market liked the results, and so it continued to pump on up overnight. So I was bullish based on the 1 hour or the 4-hour chart. Drop on down to the 1-hour time frame. Same thing. I wanted a close above this level right here. You guys can see I wrote over 10 a.m. We target previous week high, and fortunately we did get that close, and we also hit previous week high. So I'll show you guys how I got into that. So with the 4-hour and the 1 hour being bullish, I came into the market bullish. I was looking for a bullish setup overall. I wanted to enter into longs, and where my target was that previous week high level that I have marked out here. Market opens up, we crush on up, just a huge rampage on up to that previous week high level. And then once it hit that, Andrew, I'm going to go over the loss real soon. You can see it's right there. You see the executions. I entered in short right there, and I got stopped out. So with price coming up to that previous week high level, what price will typically do at these highs and lows, it could reverse, okay, which it did, but it didn't show any signs of it wanting to continue going lower. All right, that was one thing that I missed, but I still entered into the trade because I thought I saw what would have been the entry model that I usually take. So we got that drop on down, And because I missed all of this, I wanted to see a retracement back on up into, you see a 1 minute imbalance in here. And I figured, okay, if we're going to get a close above that, then we're going to continue going higher. But as you can see, we just barely missed closing above that. We start to reject on down. We have another 1 minute bullish imbalance here that then gets invalidated. And so to answer your question, Jacob, when this candle closes below, as soon as it starts to close below that, I market ordered in. You can see that my entry was right there at that level where the arrow is. And then I put my stop right above that swing high that it came from to invalidate this bullish imbalance. Why? Because that imbalance typically will act as support for price. All right. If it gets invalidated, what happens to support when it gets broken? Support then becomes resistance, is the thinking, right? Now, I'm in this trade. We start to see, you know, some good return here. Price starts to move on down. Now, I was going to make this position break even once we ended up going through this swing low here. Why? Because the market moves in ebbs and flows. It comes on up, creates a high, creates a low, creates a lower high. And so the next thing I'm expecting for price to do is to create a lower low, which in this case would have been a break of structure, to answer your question, Andrew. Which would have been a break of structure, right? It would have continued down now into this bearish structure that was forming, but we didn't get that. What I should have been seeing was, what is the reaction of price at this level here? All right, if this is the origin point for price to move on up and create this swing high, if it wants to reverse off of this liquidity area, because there are sell stops up here and buy stops, price should come down and displace through this low. Now, what is displacement? It is an energetic move through that high or that low. In this case was a low. I wanted to see a very strong energetic move and then get that retracement back on up and create that lower high, and then I could have gotten in for the sell. Now, I missed this, seeing this in the market. All right, we did get wicks. Look at these candle wicks below that swing low. That is considered a sweep. That is not a break of structure. That is not a market structure shift. That is not a continuation of bearish momentum. That was just a sweep to continue moving on higher. Okay, so I entered into this sell, put my stop up here, managed my risk appropriately. It was a amount that I was comfortable losing, knowing fully well, because I target a 1 to 2 risk to reward, I could have made it back plus more in my second trade. So I get stopped out on that. All right. The one thing that I noticed was we were inside this bearish imbalance now, created right there. Price comes up, closes above 50% of it. So that's not a good sign. I let my stop do what it had to do. It saved me right here. And then price continued to move on higher. And so I started to mark out any bullish imbalances that we saw. Now, am I going to chase price in this area? No, definitely not. I'm definitely not going to do that. Why? Because what if I enter in long and it starts to retrace and hits a stop that I had here without any kind of confirmation on the entry model that I've developed over time that I'm comfortable taking? All right, that's not following my rules. And how many times have you guys been in the market and see that it starts to pump on up, and as soon as you see that, you enter in calls or you go long, only for it to start coming right back down and you end up buying in at the top, right? You got to wait for that retracement. Wait for that retracement, which is what I did. I waited to see, because the market's not linear. It's not going to move in one direction the entire time. No, it has to come up, has to breathe. People take profit. Then it starts to come back on up, right? And you can see the market structure that gets created here. Hold on. Trying to move the chart here. And you can see the market structure that gets created, right? Now you start to see that it is more bullish, okay? So I waited patiently for that move back on down, because price came on up and still came over that high of day. I continued to be bullish on the day. And what do I want to see? I want to see a bearish imbalance get created on the 1 minute, and then that gets invalidated. And as soon as that gets invalidated, it is what is called an IFEG, an inverse fair value gap. So the one that I took was the one right here. You see this 1 minute bearish imbalance. We swept that low, we come down, starts to displace back on up, invalidates that. So I enter in right here. You can see my entry is right there. I put my stop below this swing low because this is the origin point from this move on up. And if I want it to be continuously bullish, I don't want to see price come back down here. This is where it makes sense to place my stop. Now, if you look for a break of structure and all of that, you'll get that right here. You see this swing high? We have bearish structure, right? This high, this low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, higher high. Here is that break of structure, okay? Further validation that this long is going to play out. Now, yes, sometimes I do enter in before the break of structure just because it aligns with higher time frame order flow and the lower time frame starts to show that direction. User, thank you so much for the rose. And guys, I'm going to get to your questions in a bit. Sorry, I don't think I'm ignoring you guys. I'm just trying to get through the recap, all right? I promise I'm going to get to it. So once price closes above, I put my stop below that swing low. Now I usually target a 1 to 2 with my entries. Now, of course, here it hit that 1 to 2 to the tick. I was greedy today. I wanted it to continue going higher because I was confident with price moving on up. So once it started to come back down, I said, you know what? Because I didn't take my profit off at that 1 to 2 right here, and also coming over this swing high, this is a good area for a take profit. Okay, people will have their stop losses here, and this is a good place where price could come back down. I said, you know what? I'm gonna move my stop to break even. If I get stopped out, that's my punishment. All right, that's my punishment. I didn't have a second opportunity because I did have the gains right here. Now I moved my stop to break even, and fortunately, thank God, I did not get stopped out. As you can see, it almost came close. Then price decides to start ramping back on up, and I decide to take my profit up here. All right, I take the majority of my position off there. I leave one more runner, and I had to leave. I couldn't keep watch of my position, so I decided to close out the rest right here. So overall, this trade ended up being a 1.86, I believe, or somewhere around there. I think that's where I sold it. Yep. It was a 1.85 risk to reward, but it still made back the loss. It still made back the loss, plus put me into green for the day. And my risk management says I only take 2 trades a day max. If my first trade wins, that's the only trade I'm taking. If my first trade loses, I give myself one more opportunity. If that second trade wins, I'm done. If that second trade loses, I'm done. I give myself 2 shots at the market every day. So that is the trades that I took today. Hopefully you guys took similar ones. I saw somebody said they took that short as well. Hopefully you caught the longs right after. Let's see. All right. Mikey, you were the one who said you took the same short. I'm sorry about that. Price broke that order block, pushed into the other one, went back to the bullish one. Yeah, so I don't usually use order blocks in my trading. I used to, but I've realized that honestly, fair value gaps is really the only thing I really need in terms of reading and understanding the order flow. Order blocks are great. You know, if you like to use them, more power to you. Personally, I don't. Let's see. I just realized, Jose, you sent me a gift too. I'm sorry I didn't read it, but I can't see what it is. Appreciate you though. Let's see. Do I use my own capital or a prop firm? No, Andrew. So I trade mainly on prop firms, but I am taking the payouts and putting a portion of it into my personal account. That sometimes I take swing trades on higher time frames that look really good to me. So I do that. So does the liquidity sweep make all fair value gaps before the sweep unimportant? You're saying like in this sense right here that where all of these fair value gaps right here that were created, or mainly this one, because of this sweep, does that make it unimportant? No, you should still keep an eye on it to see, okay, maybe it's sweeping it just to come back up and refill this imbalance, and it could continue in that direction back down because price can also do that. So you should still keep an eye on them just to see how does price react once it gets into that zone. If you see that price rejects off of it like it did for me here, I felt confident in taking this short because that essentially was lining up with my model, although it was missing that displacement. So this was not an A+. I'd give this like a B+, A- setup. And I've taken those before and they've worked out, but they're not as high probable as if we had that displacement below that low. My thoughts on gold. Last time I checked gold, it was at all-time highs and I was still bullish on it. And let's see. Wow. Yeah, definitely not bullish on it anymore. I reviewed it last here. I was saying how I thought it would move on up from here, but Yeah, this is some bearish action right here. Now, it doesn't mean that gold is going to come plummeting down like crazy. It is probably coming down to seek some level of liquidity, potentially that swing low right there. And then how it closes once it reaches this level, if we get, honestly, if we get a weekly close below this level here, then it's game over for gold. If we just respect that and then start to move on up, because we do have a weekly imbalance in here. All right, we also have another weekly imbalance hanging around right here where we already bounced out of that. So it was slightly mitigated. Doesn't mean that it can't come back, resweep this low and then hold it. And what I mean by hold is I don't care if a wick comes all the way down here. I want to see where the body closes, if the body's going to close within it or above it. If it still closes within it and there's no body close under it, I still consider it a valid fair value gap. Because I have seen these imbalances get traded into like 4 times before we get that move on up. It happens. It totally happens. So just because a wick goes through it, the wicks only do the damage. The bodies are really what's going to tell you the story of what price is doing and where it wants to go. So overall, I think, yes, we're going to come down on gold, trying to target that level right there. Just because of the higher time frame looking so bearish, any kind of potential to move back on up would be if gold does get a 4-hour close above 2713.1. If we get a close above that, I want to see how price reacts at these relative equal highs. It could be coming back to sweep that and then continue its drop down. So those reactions are very important. Thank you, Jacob. And guys, thank you so much for the follow, for everyone who's been following me. Rudy, that's lucky as hell. Yeah, I did not deserve that save on NASDAQ today where it didn't hit my stop loss, but we'll take it. We'll take it. It hit a 1 to 2, which is what I like to get. All right. And then usually just leave runners, but I was in another mode. My draw for today was actually this 91625 level. I was expecting price to move on up to here. And as you can see, that's where we hit and then just started to consolidate in that area for the rest of, or really into the close. I think it hit it around 313. So for the last 45 minutes, we just consolidated here. Yes, Gordito Malo. I am an ICT trader. Sorry, I'm laughing at your name. Gordito Malo. Love it. Thank you for the heart, Ali. So guys, any other questions on anything from today? Did you guys, like I said, did you guys enter in any trades? Did you guys end up green? What's going on? Talk to me, chat. If you guys have any questions, please ask them away. I am here for you guys to help you in whatever. If you guys want me to review some tickers as well, I'd be more than happy to do that. Be more than happy. It kind of keeps me agile, you know, to be able to read markets well. I think somebody yesterday asked me about GBP USD. Let's see how that did. Was it GBP USD? I don't remember. Yeah. So I was saying how I want price to come on up into this area here, hit this buy side and then drop. And as you can see, look, price is starting to curl on up. It looks like it wants to hit that. Let's take a look at the 1 hour. Yeah, 1 hour looks nice now because of the fact that we have this high, a low, lower high, lower low, lower high, still lower than that one. Now we have a higher low. This is kind of a light bulb moment right here for you. Right here. What is price doing? Why is it creating a higher low? Why is it not continuing into creating a lower low? So that means price wants to come on up. Why is it coming back on up? That's your next question. Why? Is it coming to just retrace and fill some imbalances to then continue lower? Because this chop and move like that on a daily time frame, it's just like one candle. Look at the daily. Came down, has that chop, could be just creating some kind of, you know, move here and then potentially reject off of this order block on the daily and then continue lower. The 4 hour, it looks like it wants to come up and mitigate this 4 hour imbalance as well, and potentially take out that liquidity, especially because that liquidity is sitting inside of the OTE zone, which is considered the optimal trade entry, is a high probability area for price to reject or bounce out of. So far it looks like it's going according to plan. Let me just mark that out, just adjust that like that, and then I think it'll do something like that. Another ticker people usually like to ask for is NVIDIA. Guys, please go ahead and ask away. beautiful. I told everyone it would be a good dip buy opportunity in this area too. All the way down here too. It's crazy how price action can work across all different kinds of assets too. All right, let's go back to MNQ. So what do you guys think is going to happen with NASDAQ tomorrow? Tomorrow's FOMC. Are you guys going to trade the AM session or not? I think I might honestly stay away. It depends. I've had a really good week so far too. Really good week. So I guess since no one's asking questions, I'll just give my little spiel, guys. Thank you for joining my live. I appreciate every single one of you who joined in and asked questions, learn a little thing or two. So if you guys haven't followed me, please hit me with a follow. I post my trade recaps here on TikTok for free. And they're usually about a minute long. They're really quick. I don't give much detail just because of how TikTok, the algorithm works. If you guys want more detailed breakdowns, head on over to my profile on TikTok. Click the link in my bio. That'll give you all of my other social media accounts. So you'll be able to follow me on Twitter, on Instagram, and on YouTube. YouTube is where you will find my more in-depth breakdowns where I give you guys way more detail. Pretty much the way I just broke it down for you guys here. Since I don't go live every single night, take advantage of those YouTube videos. Please go through them, look at them. You guys can write comments on them, ask any questions. Feel free to DM me on Instagram saying like, hey, like on minute 5, whatever, you said this, what does that mean? Or I don't know, whatever you want to do. Check that out on my YouTube channel. Also check out my Linktree as well. I have other helpful links on there. I know a lot of people always ask me about, the chart settings that I have on here. They ask a lot about the quarterly cycles indicator that I use sometimes to mark out time zones. How to set that up is also found on my Linktree. There's a video there that tells you exactly how to get the same setup, color scheme, and everything if you guys are interested. Another thing, guys, I am going to start up a mentorship. It has been asked from a lot of people, so I decided to go through with it. It wasn't my original plan, but because it seems like there's a need, I'm offering a mentorship that is A to Z. All right, if you know nothing about trading, I get a lot of people who are always asking me, they're like, I don't know anything. I want to get into this. How do I start? And I feel bad because I constantly send them over to YouTube videos that are just like very high level. So it's difficult to try to, gate some kind of, insight from that. So I decided to start up a mentorship that is going to take you from the very beginning of how to open a brokerage account, how to read a stock chart. What do these bars mean? All of that. All the way to the very detailed breakdown of my trading strategy that I use, my trading model that has brought me consistent profitability for the last 1.5 years now. So I hope that people will sign up for that. It'll be able to bring down the time of the learning curve. If you guys want to see just a quick snippet of what I offer, just trading basics, reading stock chart, psychology, and risk management. All of those things will be covered in it. So go ahead, hit the link in my bio. You can sign up on there. It'll take you to my WAP store to be able to read that, to see the different kinds of things that are offered. You'll also see on the WAP page that included with that, you'll have access to my Discord where I will be active. I am active now, actually. And there will be a separate area for students, the mentees, and you guys will always have access to that to ask me any and all questions. I also do offer one-on-one coaching calls, but with that mentorship, I will include a free session for you after the mentorship. If you guys have any other questions, any other follow-ups, things that you want to talk about in your trading, feel free to book that time with me once you're in the mentorship. If you don't want to join the mentorship, you can also just book a call with me too. My calendar is also on that Linktree, so feel free to check that out. It does come with a cost. I understand if you don't have the means to do that. It's also why I put my YouTube recaps out there. If you guys want to learn through that, I try to give as much nuggets of information there for you to be able to piece things together. And yeah, that is my little spiel that I always give out every night. Let's see. There are some more things. Oh, there we go. I didn't realize that you guys were messaging like crazy. Oh man, I missed all of that. Let me see. Here we go. MSG Draker, you said what ticker we were looking at? This is MNQ, NASDAQ futures. Yes, Gordito Malo, I do use prop accounts. Sorry, guys, I don't know what happened to my chat. It kind of froze for a second there. Order blocks are greater than FEGs, not gonna lie. Well, I like to think that FEGs are greater than order blocks. But like I said, it's completely up to you what you like. Yes, Gustavo, ICT. Sonder, you know exactly why my stop was hit? Yes, because it was a sweep and price wanted to continue moving on higher to the draw on liquidity. Overall higher time frame was bullish, and I decided to see if this was going to be an area where we would reverse. It happens. You full ported longs this morning. Nice. Can I give an example of a proper break of structure? Sure. The one that I gave right here. Here on the 1 minute, the price action was bearish in this retracement. You have a high, a low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, higher high. Once we displace through the previous lower high, that is considered a break of structure because this structure here is bearish, and then it has that break of it to then move into being a bullish structure because after this higher high, we put in a lower or a higher low. All right, switches that up. How long have I been trading? I've been trading for 4.5 years. Of those, a year and a half have been consistently profitable. Costco, you ended up red today. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. What do I think about Lyft? Let's take a look at it. Well, it looked like it had earnings, right? But overall, it's trying to recover, it seems, but I don't like that the fact that we did come down through this low right here, spent some time consolidating in this area. Now we're trying to move back on up. Now people are going to think that this is bullish and that Lyft is just going to start skyrocketing to the moon. I would like to see how Lyft reacts at this $15.04 level. What is price going to do here at this area? Because here, this could be an area for price to continue moving back on down, especially because we have relative equal lows here, which is a magnet for price usually. So we'll see. And I don't really know how well penny stocks usually move with ICT concepts, but from what I've seen, it's done well. It's done well. Nvidia is still bullish, especially because here on the daily, I think there was probably a daily fair value gap of some sort or a 4-hour. Yes, there was an inverse fair value gap right here. This 4-hour inverse fair value gap gets traded into and we start to move on out of there. So far, the price action is bullish. Now, I don't say to go long right here. Wait for some kind of retracement. It could find some area of support here within this imbalance right there. Price could trade into this and then consolidate a bit and then move back on up. Or if we do break that, then we're probably trying to target liquidity down here at this level at 139.08. Mara, what do I think about Mara for tomorrow? Do I think it's going to be green? Potentially. It depends, right? It could pull back, but I do like the fact that we have a strong 4-hour close above this imbalance right there. It looks like the draw for it, where price is gravitating towards this 1994 level. Look at the 1-hour time frame as well. Yeah, so it could do something like this where it comes down to mitigate this imbalance right there and then continue on higher. So we'll see what it does. At the market open, it could drop and then move on higher. All depends on what it wants to do. But so far, yes, the price action does look bullish on it. Imagine getting an open candle and staying till end of day 500 plus points. That's wild. That is definitely wild. Hunter, yeah, I did, bro. I did get some trades today. I took 2 trades. First one got stopped out. Second one made back the loss. Now, I didn't hold the entire run up. I just took it at like a 1 to 1.85. Called it a day because I also don't like to stick around too long in the afternoon. I never really trade PM session, as you obviously probably know because you're always in my lives too. Love having you here always. Not saying that in a bad way. But yeah, so the first one got stopped out. Second one hit my take profit and continued to run up higher. My draw for the day was that 916 level, but amazing run up. You're going to paper trade NASDAQ mini? Good for you, man. Go for it, especially because it's FOMC. What are some good prop firms? So there are two that I use. I'm funded on Apex Trader Funding, and I'm also funded on My Funded Futures. I just recently got the My Funded Futures, passed the eval like 2 weeks ago, and I just got a payout from them today with my new funded account. So they paid out amazingly quick. I requested it at 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. Then it got approved at like 6:20, and it was in my Rise account in like 15 minutes. I withdrew it from my Rise account and it hit my bank account in like 3 minutes. So I had my money by 7 p.m. Requested it at 5:30. I had the money in my bank at 7 p.m. I don't know of any other prop firm that does it that fast. So that is one thing that is amazing about them. If you want to check out both of them, the links are in my bio too, so you can click them and it'll take you directly to their website. Could you show a good IFEG and why it's an IFEG versus an FEG? Jacob, great question. So let me move over to the NASDAQ because I already have a lot of drawings on there, the NQ chart, so the minis. So for example, that trade that I took today, that second trade that I took. So you see how price is moving back on down into this swing low right there. And on its way back down, it creates this 1 minute fair value gap. Price moves, it starts to try to hold that. The second candle continues on higher and closes it and invalidates it. Invalidates it being a bearish fair value gap and turns it into a bullish fair value gap. An bullish inverse fair value gap. Price comes down and holds the 50% mark of that and then starts to displace back on out of it. Now, why would I consider this to be a good inverse fair value gap to get into? Well, take a look at the 5 minute time frame. This is what I was watching here on the 5 minute. Overall, on this 5 minute chart, price dips down into here, comes up, creates a lower high, or a higher low, sorry. A higher high here, does sweep that, but then comes and creates a break of structure to continue having that. Here, again, it sweeps it, creates that new high. Now, the thing that I liked was the fact that price came down and created this swing low right here. All right, creating this swing low, take a fib from that low here to the high, and that's right around in the OTE area, a high probability area where price could bounce out of. All right, we're in this zone, this 5 minute fair value gap right there. There was a 5 minute fair value gap. It did get invalidated, but it wasn't strong. The fact that there was just a very weak close below that, and then we had this massive wick back on up, showed that maybe price didn't want to continue going down. I'm sure there's probably something on the 2 minute time frame as well. If we drop down into that, there was an inverse fair value gap here on the 2 minute. Price held the 50% mark of that inverse fair value gap right here. So a lot of different confluences. An inverse fair value gap held the 50% in the OTE area after price swept that swing low right there. Just gives good confirmation that this wants to continue higher. Especially because the 4 hour and the 1 hour both showed willingness to go higher as well. So once all of those time frames aligned, it was just perfect, right? You also get this swing low, swing high, higher low, higher high, higher low. All right, and then it just continues to create, you know, a higher high, higher low, higher high, and it just continues moving on up slowly. So those are the examples. Was good, Verdell. I think this is the first time I see you in my live, bro. Trying to get through everyone. Let's see. Sir, you're taking shorts tomorrow. You can feel it. I mean, I guess, right? What goes up must come down, like you said earlier. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. If the market shows that it wants to go lower, I'll be right in those shorts with you, man. Jason, you just joined the boot camp. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. You probably got access to the Discord already. If you haven't, DM me if you're struggling to figure out how to get access to that, but I will definitely message you in there. How about crypto Bitcoin? Bitcoin, I definitely marked this out. I remember marking it out that it was going to continue to all-time highs. Let me see. Yeah, I said I wanted that weekly fair value gap to hold us, although it is showing some kind of, you know, bearishness. The thing that I liked was what I marked out here. We're in this weekly fair value gap. It does sweep this low right here and also that low right there. Okay, I had marked that out. That was probably a swing low on a 1 hour time frame. Let's take a look. Was that the 4 hour chart that I had? Yeah, there was definitely a swing low in that area right here. It swept all of this liquidity right here and then held that weekly fair value gap, which showed willingness to have price continue on higher. And then I said, if we do come on up and start to displace above this high, create an imbalance. Look at that. It created this fair value gap right there. Wicks through, but the bodies are still closing above that. Shows willingness that it wanted to continue on higher. And we get all-time highs on Bitcoin. Now, some people will read this as a bull flag. Great. It's up to you how you want to read it, but this is the way I see it. Let's see. Trying to catch up to everybody. Sorry, guys. Why not take profits at the top of the green box and then re-enter when it came back into the fair value gap? AP, that's a great question, right? It definitely was a way to do that. You definitely could have done that, but that's just not the way I trade. I like to catch and capitalize the entire move. Now, this doesn't often happen. All right, sometimes price does this, it comes here and then it continues moving on higher. I don't like to catch every swing high and swing low. If I see that I'm in a good area of an entry, and then I just go for the target. The target here probably, I was trying to hit new high of day, but I just wanted to get the day over with. I wanted to be done, and I hit a really good trade here where it made back the loss in the first one. But yeah, you could have done that, but that's just not the way I do it. Mr. Somebody, you said you're only on paper trading, but that's what I do. Once I hit target, I close trade and take another option trade at the same time. What's good, Rye? What is up? What is up? Just caught the BPR buy on live. Sick. Nice. Nice. You're welcome, Jacob. I'm glad that you found the explanation to be clear. Do y'all think SPY will fill the gap? Well, it does eventually have to come back and mitigate the imbalances that it left. That's for sure. An area like, man, MES had a massive run on up, especially displacing over that high. It is very bullish, but if we do end up getting some kind of retracement, I would like to see price come back down into this area here, at least into discount. But the areas that are important to note would be this imbalance right there, especially, I bet you there's a swing low in here. Yeah. It could come back down and sweep that. Come here, sweep that, do something like this, and then continue on higher. So it could do something like that. Or if we get a 4 hour close below that, that means it wants to target liquidity lower. So probably down here in this area, potentially filling this gap with a wick and then moving back on up. So I could see why some people want to short. But it's only if the price action leads that, all right? If it only leads that way. CRT trust. Yeah, I tried to understand how CRT works. I can't get it, and I've been using my model for the whole year and a half, so don't change what's working, all right? Why fix I don't know. What's this? You guys know the saying. You know what I mean. Yeah, it's NASDAQ. So classy. Verdell is in here. Yeah, I saw that. Awesome, Jason. How much is the mentorship, and did I learn from Dodgy? I did not learn from Dodgy. The only thing I guess I could credit him for is just the fact that he constantly talked about IFEGs, and so I started to look at them more often when I was trading. Before that, I was entering on change of state of delivery. That was the entry model that I had before, and once I saw that IFEGs held more power, that's when I started to use that instead. So no, I haven't watched a single one of his videos. He's a great trader though, that's for sure. NASDAQ Mini, can you show us your payout proof just so I know you're legit? So you can go on my Instagram, and on my highlights, I posted all the payout certificates that I've gotten this year. But if you want to see the one that I just recently got, it's right there. I had a feeling someone might ask. So there it is. You can check the date, November 6th. I just got it paid out today. What platform do I use to screen record for my YouTube library? I use OBS. You can use OBS or you can use Streamlabs. Both of them are very good. I forgot these are futures, so there's no theta. Miami, what's good, bro? What's up, brother? I've never seen you in one of my lives, but I'm glad you're here, man. Thank you. You can confidently say that I'm legit. Thank you so much. Mr. Somebody, I'm sorry. I must have skipped it by accident just because there's so many. Can you just please retype your question? Are you training tomorrow or waiting till after FOMC? Honestly, I'm going to read the price action in the morning. If I see a setup that really fits all of the criteria of what I like to look for, then I will take it. I know a lot of people say, oh, avoid this day. Don't trade this. You're a gambler if you trade that. I'm like, look, don't listen to those people. And I just tweeted about it too. Don't listen to people that tell you when not to trade. That's only because they probably don't know how to trade that. Okay? Trade it. If you see your setup, take it. Take it. Because I will tell you right now, if you backtest, if you're someone who backtests, do you ever account for news days? You probably don't. And price action still does what it has to do, right? So why are you so concerned about news days, red folder days? Don't be trading this time, that time. No, just trade your model. If it shows up, do it. Thank you so much, Phil, for the W's. Could you show us how to use the fib to help support an entry? Jacob, so for example, let's see, let's go back to the 1 minute here. So I personally don't use fibs. I have in the past, but sometimes I like to use them for further confirmation. So seeing how we have that swing low here, coming up into this swing high, we're trading within this range now, right? We're coming back into this internal range. And what you want to do is you take the low and the high of the range just to see where is premium and where is discount. Price will come back retracing into discount to find some liquidity, some kind of imbalance, to be able to have support in price to then continue moving on higher. Here, my entry was great in this OTE area. Even if I'm coming in after the fact, right? It's still reacting out of OTE. There are some imbalances in here that had very good support in price. So once I see my entry, my model showing up in this area of OTE, it's a pretty high confidence trade. Yes, NASDAQ Mini, I do trade ICT concepts. Alex, futures are another instrument to trade. All right. You know, you have the S&P on the stock market, which is SPY, SPY. Everybody knows that. QQQ is the symbol for NASDAQ, and you can trade shares for that, or you can trade options on that. Now, there is another instrument called futures, which tracks the same index, but futures are open 23/5. So 23 hours a day, 5 days a week. All right, so they open at 6 p.m. on Sunday, and then they don't close fully until 5 p.m. on Friday. There is a 1 hour recess every single day between 5 and 6 p.m. Eastern time. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday it just closes at 5. What type of strategy or concept do I use? So I mainly read price action, and I use the concepts taught by Inner Circle Trader, which are higher time frame order flow, draw on liquidity, market structure, and then for my entry model, I'm using quarterly theory, time cycles, and inverse fair value gaps. After, of course, it hitting an area of liquidity, so liquidity sweeps too. That's essentially what I use. Mixing all that up together gives me my model. So my entries, they don't vary that much, but there are sometimes I notice there's an SMT. Great. Sometimes I don't even look for SMT. Sometimes I notice, oh, there's a change in state of delivery. As long as I have it all aligning to what I believe is going to happen, and it adds more confidence into it, just helps me in being able to hold that trade longer. So, but I don't add too much. I always try to keep it as simple as possible. When I was trying to add in everything, looking for breaker blocks, order blocks, IFEGs, SMT, volume imbalances, all these things, man, I would get analysis paralysis. So I stopped doing that. I kept it as simple as possible. You only use CRT on the weekly, use a bit of ICT, and the rest is order flow, AMT. Also TPO charts. Yeah, I know some people who marry ICT with order flow too, and that's awesome. I mean, there's so many ways to read the market. It's awesome. Like, I know support and resistance traders who are killers in the market. I know trendline traders who are really good. I know supply and demand traders who are also really good. So everything works. It really depends on you. It all comes down to you, your psychology, and risk management. With lots of backtesting, your strategy works. Yeah. Do I use FX Replay for backtesting? Yes, I do, Jason. I do. Does strategies on paper trading transition to live account trading? You made 67,000 on paper trading. It depends, Mr. Somebody, if you are doing the same kind of risk management on paper as you would on a live account. If you're going in 20 mini contracts on NASDAQ and you made that much, you're obviously not going to be taking 20 mini contracts on a live account, because number one, you might not have the maintenance margin to do that if you're using a personal. Number two, I doubt a prop firm will be able to give you that kind of leverage to be able to do that. You're more than likely probably going to only take 2 minis. So I would say, rather than focusing on the amount of money you made on paper, focus on the risk to reward that your trades are having. And if you're consistently hitting like 1.5, 2, like a 1.5 risk to reward all the way up to a 1 to 2, then if you can do it on paper, you can do it on live. If you can do it on live with 1 contract, you can do it on live with 5 contracts. You know, it's all scalable. So it all depends on the risk management that you have, and as long as it does not affect your psychology. Price prediction for Solana. What is the ticker for it? I've never done it before. Sol USD. Looks about right. Yeah, so Solana obviously is reaching higher. Here's one area of interest. Here's another one. The one thing I like on Solana here on the weekly chart, we closed above this bearish imbalance, came traded back into this weekly imbalance where we had a very nice strong reaction out of it, especially at the 50% mark. Let's take a look at the daily. Very strong. I mean, overall, all crypto is bullish, right? But I think what could end up happening on Solana, if it wants to continue being bullish, it could come up into this area here and then retrace back into somewhere in this zone here. So you'll have to see in the 4-hour time frame, 1 hour, to see if there's any kind of reversal that will happen there. And then price will continue moving on higher, potentially to that 209.90 level, and however much more it wants to continue going. But overall, Solana is bullish. So yeah, let's see. Can you explain entering a trade after a break of structure in its simplest form? Of course. So there is, let's say, a level of sell side liquidity. Price is trading on down into it, creating a bearish structure like this. Does something like this, a very strong energetic move down. Does this, and then it starts to trade out of it. Okay, let's say that is the price action. Bearish moves down into sell side. What it'll more than likely have will be a fair value gap, a bearish fair value gap right there, into sell side, creates that lower high, so continuing the bearish structure. But then here you will notice it will have a higher high. Okay, that is the first light bulb moment for you that you'll say, hey, why is it not continuing down lower? We're in sell side liquidity, moving down lower, and where is the break of structure? Right here. That is now the break of structure, and your entry is not going to be up here. Your entry is going to be the retracement into a fair value gap of some sort that gets created in this break of structure leg. Comes into this fair value gap. Boom. That is essentially the 2022 model. You could also take a unicorn model, which would be a fair value gap gets created down here, and there is a breaker block right there. Do I have that as a... No, I don't. That would be a breaker block inside of that, And so that would be what is called the unicorn model. For me, my entry is if there is a retracement leg like this, and there is a bearish fair value gap in here on the 1 minute, and then we create a lower high, and then we inverse that, my entry is somewhere in this area. So overall, everyone's really getting into here in this area, and ideally, it would be also that it is in discount, and it would be a very high probable trade if it is in this OTE area, which is where this fair value gap and this order block would, or this breaker block would be. My IFG is way down here, so I enter in as soon as it gets created. So I hope that's as simple as I can get. You're an option trader, Mr. Somebody. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible. As long as you're not over leveraging, like I said. You're probably using a lot of contracts to be able to make that much. Unless it was over the course of a year, then okay, maybe. Ramo, you're sad you didn't win the election. I know, man. I'm sorry. I guess I wasn't out there too much doing rallies and all that. It's because you were not my admin for my campaign, bro. I asked you and you didn't listen. What is the quarterly time flows? So that is... Hold on, let me delete all this first. Quarterly time flows, so quarterly theory and the quarterly cycles are essentially a way to view the day, in that every single day is comprised of 24 hours. If you take those 24 hours, well, in the futures market, it's 23 hours. If you break that down and you put them into quarters, you'll notice that price will do one of 4 things in each specific quarter. Q1 will accumulate, so this is Monday. That's why Mondays typically are range bound days. Tuesday will be a manipulation move in one direction. Wednesday, this is for the week. Wednesday could be the reversal of whatever happened Tuesday. That's why some people say if Tuesday goes above Monday's high, you can expect Wednesday to be bearish, either a retracement or a complete reversal. It could do that. Thursday will be what is called the X cycle, which is it'll either be a continuation of whatever happened on Wednesday, or it could be the reversal of what happened on Wednesday. Now, it does not work perfectly every single time. I don't use it like that if Tuesday is up, Wednesday I'm looking for shorts. No, I don't use it like that. I use it just to have an understanding of, okay, we could see some kind of reversal here. I want to see if it does close below this level, then it's probably a complete reversal. If not, it could find just a retracement to there to continue higher. That also added into why I took that short this morning. It was because if you take a look there, if you keep breaking down those each quarter into subquarters and subquarters and subquarters, the daily ones will be from 6 p.m. when the market opens to midnight is Q1. That's the Asian range. And as you know, Asia typically consolidates. From midnight to 6 in the morning, that is the London session. That will typically have either the high of day or the low of day, because London will move in one direction and then completely reverse around 3 a.m. Then New York AM session can either be the continuation of that reversal of London or a reversal of the direction that London had. All right, it depends on how it all works out. So here, if you take then those sessions, the New York AM session, you will have Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. Now, there are different kinds of profiles. There could be an AMDX profile, which is accumulation, manipulation, distribution, continuation, reversal, or XAMD, which here would be a very strong move where it's not accumulating like it is here. Q2 will then accumulate. Q3 will manipulate in one direction. And then Q4 could reverse or just be like a retracement of it, or a continuation. Or sorry, it would be the distribution in the opposing direction. But like I said, it doesn't work perfectly. Then you take each one of those, drop it down into the microcycles. And as you can see here in this Q1, price accumulates. Right at the beginning of this, price starts to move on up. So I thought maybe this is manipulation higher. And wow, here we're coming down. Okay, maybe I could expect Q3 to be the distribution move down. But unfortunately, that did not work out. So if you notice in my trades, I'm not taking anything in Q2 here. I'm mostly waiting for Q3 and Q4. If you look, let me delete that. If you look at the trade I took here, it was because here we had this move down. We manipulated below that low. And I figured, okay, we're going to distribute on higher. and we did. I took it towards the 50% mark of Q2, which is where it's kind of my exception. I'll take it from 50% of Q2 forward. I'm not taking trades here in Q1 unless it is a super obvious move for New York AM session, but I'm definitely not taking any trades in pre-market whatsoever. That's like a very quick, it can get very detailed, but there's way more to order flow, there's way more to quarterly theory than how I use it. There's much more. No, I don't trade with order blocks. Do I believe indicators don't actually work for trading? They can if you use proper risk management. Now, are you going to get a precise entry or are you going to get a late entry? Sometimes. Could definitely happen. I would say don't trade solely off of indicators. Use indicators plus a little bit of price action. The biggest thing in price action, I would say, is market structure. How do I have my text up here? Quads. So that is actually an indicator right here. Go to the link in my bio and you'll be able to see a video on how I actually set that up too. Sorry, POV Life. I see that you've been asking a lot of times. Yeah, check out the link in my bio. You'll be able to find the video there on how to set that up. A lot of people are asking me for that. How do I stop over trading and how many trades do I take a day? Evan, that's a great question. I take 2 trades a day, max, per prop account. If the first trade is a winner, then I call it at that. If the first trade loses and the second trade wins, then I call it at that. If the first trade loses and the second trade loses, and then I call it at that. So the max I give myself is 2 opportunities. If I get it wrong 2 times, I have a bad read on the market that day. And it's very unlikely that that third trade will be a green one. If I'm already starting to feel a little emotional of the first 2, it's very unlikely that my third trade will, be able to do any kind of effect. And I would hate to have a third losing trade on the row because that'll affect my mental. And I don't want that either. Options follow a different set of rules with futures in terms of cash settlement and how many options trades you can take in a day. Tony, you came in late. You don't understand any of these words. You probably came in when I was probably talking about quarterly theory. That was a lot. That's why I don't usually talk about it too much. But yeah, if you want to learn a little bit more about how I trade, you can find that on my TikTok videos and especially on my YouTube channel. Go to the link in my bio. You'll be able to find it there. ICT, yes, Dom. US 30, could you put US 30 on here? That would be YM, right? The Dow. All right. Dow, obviously very bullish. Holding this weekly fair value gap right there. Very nice. Holding the 50% mark, very nice as well. If the week closes above this, we could see the Dow coming back down into some area here into this IFEG and then continuing higher. But overall, it is bullish. Overall, the whole market's bullish, right? It seems pretty simple, but you don't want to be buying up here. You want to look for some kind of retracement to enter in on. And the ideal retracement, like I've been saying this whole time, is in discount. Right here, as you can see, in discount, there is a 4-hour imbalance where price could find support. And then once price dips into that, you drop into a lower time frame to find that break of structure, whatever you may use as your entry model to find some sort of reversal where in here, you'll get into that long and target, levels of liquidity on the way up. Ideally, your full draw on liquidity will be the high right there on that leg. GBP USD. Yeah, so we talked about it earlier tonight. I think for now it is retracing back on up, probably trying to aim for this 1.29816 level. And then from here, I think it's going to drop down. Somebody actually asked me about that yesterday, and I wanted for price to come up into premium to then move lower. Yes, if Dom, but really I like to see it go into a fair value gap on the higher time frame. T Reaper, to get the words on up here, it's an indicator. It's this AGFX watermark. If you want to know exactly how I did it, go to the link in my bio and you'll be able to find a video there. Actually, I can show you where it is. Let me open up another tab here. Hold on, where is it? So here on my link tree, right here, optimize your training view for success, my custom chart settings. So if you click that, yeah, it's not gonna work. I have to sign in on YouTube or whatever, but you could click it. That's not it, but it should work for you. I don't know why it's not working on my Safari, but this is the video. If you can't find it here, go to my YouTube channel and then you'll be able to find it. If you go to my videos, scroll down, should be there somewhere. Nope, that's not it. Keep going down. Right here, trading view chart setup. So yeah, guys, as you can see, I post my trade recaps almost daily. And yes, I do post losing trade recaps. I don't shy away from that. I pride myself in transparency. So I show you guys everything that I do. Even showing you guys my P&L. You can find that on here. So you can see my October 2024 P&L. If you click that, it'll take you to it. It'll show you the return that I had for the month off of prop firms. It'll show you the losing days, winning days. And so far for November, I am up. Green day every single day so far in November, thank God. But we'll see how the rest of the month goes by. It would be awesome if I can shoot for a whole green month. That would be awesome. But we'll see. Can I do USD CHF? Is that the Frenchie? Or Swiss? I don't know. I don't trade Forex, but let's see. So here is an interesting area, okay? On the weekly time frame, we do have this level of buy-side liquidity right here. All right, we have buy-side liquidity right here. We're now trading into it. It also doesn't help that we are inside this 4-hour imbalance, or sorry, this weekly imbalance. I'm just so used to always being on the 4-hour chart. Sorry about that. If we do get a close above here on the weekly time frame, I would shift from being bearish, as it looks like it wants to be bearish, because we have this low, we have this lower high. Here we have a higher low, okay? Starts to move on up. It invalidates this. I think the next stop for price would be this level here on the weekly chart, this 0.90504. All right, once it hits that level there, I think it'll be a very strong probability that it's going to come on up to this level. But it all depends how price is reacting here. Let's take a look at the daily. Daily had a very nice pump on up. It is looking to create a daily imbalance as well, where it could trade back down into it on Monday. And then continue moving on higher. But yes, I think it does potentially want to retrace and mitigate this imbalance right there on the 4-hour time frame. Let's mark that out. 4-hour FEG. And this one right there. So it could come, wick into these two, and then move on higher. Especially because we're in that buy side level right now. So that's what I think will happen. Do Bitcoin. Bitcoin is so popular tonight. Bitcoin, same thing. I think it's trying to come down and retrace into this level. So don't go buying into Bitcoin right now. It does want to, people are going to want to take profits. The people who have been holding since down here, they're not going to keep on holding. They're probably going to want to take some profits off, wait for price to become a little cheaper, and then continue riding the wave. But overall, Bitcoin is bullish from what I see. Especially because we have the beginning of this order block in that area too. Very good probability that it could come down and then move on higher. Thank you so much everyone for the follows. You guys are such awesome people, an awesome crowd. But I have been live for about an hour now and we have 2,000 likes and 70 new followers. Wow. Thank you so much guys for that. Jasmine, you asked what software is this? This is TradingView. This is TradingView right here. So yeah, guys, thank you so much, everybody, for being on live tonight. Yeah, it's been an hour. Jacob, you've been here the whole time, bro? Wow. That's an honor. Thank you so much for choosing to be here. You could have been anywhere else, man. But thank you so much for being on my live. But yeah, if you guys don't follow me already, hit me with that follow. I try to go live at least twice a week to be able to review what I did in the market, and then be able to answer any questions you guys may have. Of course, you're welcome. SJ, thank you so much for the let 'em cook. Jasmine, you're new to futures trading. Awesome. Hit me with the follow. I post a lot of content here on my TikTok. They're typically my trade recaps. They're about a minute long, very quick. Hit the link in my bio. That'll take you over to my Linktree. Here on my Linktree, you'll be able to find other helpful links. You'll be able to find my socials, so my YouTube, my Instagram, my Twitter, and of course my TikTok link. You see here that I have a boot camp coming up. Has been an ask from a lot of people, so I am going to start on November 19th is going to be the first class. If you are interested in that, click the link, sign up. I also do offer one-on-one sessions. Now, these two things are with a cost, okay? If that's not something that is in your budget, or if you're against people who do that, totally fair. I respect that. I'm not saying you have to sign up for it. Check out my YouTube then. My YouTube channel has a lot of content. All right, I post my trade recaps like you guys saw on these videos. They are about 10 minutes long, 5 minutes long. It depends on the day. I try to drop as much knowledge as I can on there. I have had a lot of good feedback from people who say they learn a lot from these videos. So go ahead, check that out too. That's totally free for you. But if you want a more hands-on approach with me, if you want to learn directly from me, everything that is included in that mentorship, it is from A to Z. I take you guys from basics. What is a stock chart? How to read candlesticks? What is a buy order? What is a sell order? All the way to figuring out what brokerage to use if you want to do prop firm trading or you want to use a personal account, then diving deep into the trading strategy that I use. Okay, so I will take you guys through all of that. It should run literally right to the last week or the week before Christmas. And included in the mentorship, you'll have the classes. You'll get access to my Discord where you will have access to me all the time now. It'll be lifetime access there. All the other students will be in it. We'll have 2 classes a week through Zoom calls. It'll be interactive, so it's not just going to be me talking the entire time. I want you guys to ask questions, and you guys will have me at your disposal to answer anything. Then after that, we will have live trading together with the students. There will be at least 3 live trading sessions so you guys can see me put the concepts into action and then being able to see how I take these trades in real time. And then after that, you will have 1 free one-on-one session where you'll be able to book an hour time with me so we can review any trades that you've been taking. If there's one thing that you're just not getting, on top of just already having access to me in the Discord, right? You'll have 1 hour with me for free. So that will be all included. And like I said, back on my Linktree, there are other things here like the different prop firms that I use, the Webull sign up if you want to use Webull as well for options and shares. All of that is there for you to use. So again, thank you so much guys for being here. Lil Diabetes, if you want to know how much it is, $4.50 right now. You can go ahead and click that. It'll take you to my WAP store and you'll be able to sign up if that is something that interests you. I have had some people ask me for payment plan options. I'm trying to see if that is something I can work out. DM me if that is something that you want to do, and I will let you know what I can work out with you. But yeah, guys, thank you so much again for being on my live tonight. I hope you guys learned a lot. If you want me to upload this live to YouTube, I have been asked that before. Drop a W in the chat, like it up, and I will download the live stream and upload it to YouTube for you guys to then review it if you want. Jacob already with a W. I was mainly asking it for you. As long as I get 1 W, that's more than enough for me to upload it to YouTube. So thank you so much again, guys, for joining me. Like I said before, you guys could have been anywhere else tonight, but you guys decided to stay here on this live all the way to the very end. And I think it's to hear this message, and that's that God loves you guys, and he sees the struggles and the different trials that you're facing, but he wants to help you. He wants to uplift you. He wants to hold you in his arms and take you through and lead you through whatever it is that you're going through. So please turn around, seek God. All right. Love you guys so much. Thank you so much again. Awesome day in the market. Let's rest up. And let's get ready for another day tomorrow. Let's be careful also. It is FOMC tomorrow. So hopefully you guys end up with a green day. Hopefully I do. God willing, I also end up with a green day to continue on the green streak that I've been. I feel very blessed. But yes, thank you so much, guys. God bless you as well, Fireball. And I will catch you guys all tomorrow. I will be live again tomorrow night. See ya. Peace.